Okay, there we are. It is so absolutely amazing to be with you this morning. Thank you for giving us your time, Iyanla Vanzant, to the International African Arts Festival. And we just want to have you share with us your experiences over the years, because as you know, the festival turns 50 years old in July. So we're
Yeah.
super excited, and we would love for you to share with us your fondest memories of being
Wow.
at the festival.
Well, I think before I can even share my fondest memories, I think what's important for people to know is that we call it festival, right?
Yes.
It's one of the oldest community festivals in the country. I mean, it outlives BET Awards, the Essence Music Festival. I think the one in Chicago may be about the same age, if not a little younger. So the International African Arts Festival is probably one of the oldest street festivals, community festivals
Absolutely.
held in the country. So that's really wonderful. 50 years. There are people who aren't 50 years old. So this is a part of history and culture that I think is so important to everybody. Um, if the festival is 15 years old, that means that the first time I went, I was 19.
Hmm.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And that's when it was at 10 Claver Place, right off Fulton Street.
Yep.
And it was all of the vendors and the rides and the music right there, right at the East in Brooklyn, New York, 10 Claver Place.
When it was
Um,
called the African Street Carnival, right?
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It was Carnival. It didn't. It grew into a festival when we went to Boys and Girls High School.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So I remember, just being able to go. You saw people from all over the borough at that point because it was pretty much localized to Brooklyn.
Hmm.
Maybe a few Manhattaners, they didn't hang out with us too much. But anybody who knew the East or 10 Claver Place, where we used to do jazz concerts and community meetings and those kind of things, came to the festival. So it was kind of the five boroughs. And it was really for the children,
Hmm.
things for the children to do and places. There were a few food vendors, and the big thing was always the music. The music at
Yes.
night, whether it
Yes.
was Leon Thomas or Pharaoh or the community dance groups, the community drumming groups. So it was just that opportunity um, for the entire community to come together,
Right.
and be together. And I don't know how old it was when it moved to Boys and Girls High. I don't remember what year that was, but
Mhm.
that was big news. Okay,
A
what?
big deal, right?
What? Off a block into a whole field
Right.
with
Right.
thousands and thousands of people, and any craft person who was worth their weight in salt was there.
Yes.
You could buy anything from a shoe to an earring to a dress to, oh my God, that was big, big news. Um, and it's just, I think, important and beautiful to see something for us, about us, by us, tended by us, manned by us. It was just a beautiful thing to have all of those hundreds and hundreds, sometimes thousands as it grew, thousands of people. Now it's not a carnival anymore, it's a festival.
International, no least, no less.
International
Yeah.
African Festival. Okay. And so it was, I mean, you could take a day to walk around if you stopped at everybody, the stage where the entertainment or the performers were. You
Hmm.
could stay there. And it was just, I don't know what to say. It's etched into the fibers of my being as a part of who I am. And
Right.
then once we moved to, and I can tell you the baobab tree where the brother used to make shoes, the best chicken north of the south, having ecclesiastics and his jewelry and his brother. And then there was the vegetarian restaurant. I don't remember the name of it, but there were vendor, and of course you had Imani and her earrings. You know, every
Yes.
earring is different. Um, I'm trying to think of who else you had. They were just from Harlem, the Bronx, Philly. All of the vendors came in, and it was the one time where you could buy goods and services and products that were completely made and sold by us, by people of color. It was just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I
Um,
remember, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I remember seeing a vendor that had furniture.
Oh yes,
This is when we were at Boys and Girls, and it
yes,
just blew my mind. So to your
yes,
point, the
yeah.
merchants, the vendors, and they come from all over the world
The
to,
pony. Remember, we had pony rides.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
First
the
time,
one thing that we didn't have, which I'm so grateful, were the carnival things, you know, the Ferris wheel and the roller coaster. We didn't do that.
right.
And and the children ran loose in the field. They were safe.
Yep.
Um, you know, everybody looked out for everybody. Most vendors were in the same place every year, so you knew where to go and find whatever it was you were looking for. And I
Yeah.
remember when the vendors grew from under the school to the field.
Yes. That was a big deal too, right?
Oh, huge! What? Expansion. It's like a new mall opening. And not only did the vendors move to the field, but the second stage.
Yes.
The stage in the field. Um, Another beautiful thing. I remember the year we did the ancestral celebration, where
Yep.
all of the cultural traditional priests in Brooklyn and beyond, we came and did an entire ancestral celebration, set up the ancestral altar, and then that became a staple every year. People would come and bring offerings to the ancestral altar. So it's always been an opportunity for us to experience and express and participate in the most sacred parts of our culture as people of African descent. Um, to come together, to be together,
Mhm.
uh, to share together. And again, I think there was one year there was some little kerfluffle, but in all of the years that I know festival, there was never any violence, any outbreak, any disruption that I remember, that I recall.
You're
Um,
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's one of the things that the founders always talk about, the safety, no incident with NYPD, thousands of people. The vendors used to spend the night on the
yes,
field,
that's right.
and the organization had security patrolling the grounds to make sure that the goods were protected, the people were protected, because they spent the night for 5 days. They
That's
never
right.
left the grounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember my heartbreak was the year that the Essence Music Festival started, and it was the same weekend
Yeah.
as the festival. And because of contracts and other requirements, I had to go to Essence. You
Ah,
know, and
right.
so, but again, another powerful, just a different energy because it was more about um, the entertainment feel and celebrities, whereas festival was more about community, the down home grassroots
Yeah.
community. But the fact
Yeah.
that the two of them were knocking up against each other, I was just horrified.
Yeah. But you this is a perfect segue because I wanted to know if you would share with us your thoughts on the importance of community and community building and arts and culture in that way, because there's a little bit of a difference, we say, between the arts and entertainment. Could you kind of give your feedback on that?
Well, it always amazes me how we as a people, and when I say a people, I mean people of African descent specifically, and I would even throw in there Native American because that's my patriarchal lineage, but particularly people of African descent, how we survived in the bottom of a slave ship, eating slop off each other's face, not being able to speak the same language, and still together we were able to make it. And now we have condos and townhouses. Everybody's got their own car and their own device, and we committing suicide and taking antidepressant drugs because the culture, the connection, the community is no longer promoted and grown among us. Everybody wants to be in their separate little place, celebrating their, their comeuppance and their accomplishments. But when we imagine, where would you go in today's culture, in today's world, and let your 3, 4, 5-year-old run loose in a field?
Right.
In 50 years, you've been able to do that at the African Street Festival. And so I think that sense of community is sorely missing in so many ways for so many reasons. And that's why I think festival is still so important for us to be able to go there and appreciate the arts, handcrafted goods,
Yes.
and performers, craftsmen who have mastered their craft in many ways. I remember when Leon used to come. Third World came one year.
Yes.
And these are people who mastered their craft and received acceptance in the greater world, but still see the importance of community and connections at the grassroots level. Essence, Susan Taylor, who was the editor-in-chief of Essence, came to festival every year. And by the time they started doing Essence Music Festival, she had to go there, like me, But that sense of community, I think, is really one of the reasons, one of the many, but one of the reasons that our mental health is so challenged today. We don't have community. Everybody's out on their own, on their device, and struggling and fighting and clawing to get ahead. Where when you have community, you understand whose backs you're standing on. You understand who's standing beside you. And for so many of the craftsmen, the vendors, the organizers of festival, that's what has kept them together. I mean, the brothers who've done this have been together all of these years since 10 Claver Pace. We're talking Mensah, Segun, Adeyemi. We lost
Baba Mzee.
Mzee, but his children and those, like any community, we've lost elders. But in this world today, the importance of community, the importance of being able to wear your culture as a craft, whether it's an eyeglass or a shoe or dress or whatever. I have things still that I bought from festival, 20, 30 years ago that I still have. So it's important for our mental health, arts, culture, community. It's important for our emotional health, to be able to look out at a sea, literally a sea of people, and see yourself, to hear people who are not singing or speaking about shaking the booty or what the other thing is, the WAP, but who are talking about, now that we found love, what are we going to do with it? Or love supreme, or the creator has a master plan. I mean, these ancient, I say ancient because they're so old, but these traditional songs that feed our spirit. And that's what the arts do. The arts, the crafts, the culture, the community, it feeds our spirit. And so many of us have so integrated into the mass world until we're spiritually bankrupt.
Right. It couldn't have been better said. And that's one of the things that the founders, the festival family, take great pride in. And to your point about the children running around, 3 and 5-year-olds, and knowing that they're going to be okay, the festival often talks about our elders as well. So you can have your 2 or 3 or 4-year-old running around, but they might just be, walking with the 80-year-old, the 90-year-old, and it's all safe and it's all good and it's all love. So that's why we appreciate you coming to bring some of that forth, so we can really understand the importance of 50 years of doing this.
Well, I think the important thing is some of the 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds who used to run around are now manning and administrating the festival. Whether you're talking about Adiemi's kids or Mensa's kid, well, Mensa had Namyonka. Um, anyway, the children.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm
Brother
with you.
Segun sons, those kids that used to run around and get the corn on the cob or whatever it was that they were eating, they are now administering and running many parts of the festival. And that's called legacy.
There
That's
you
called
go.
legacy. And where else in this country do we have that kind of legacy where those who grew up in it now run it? That's so
Absolutely.
very important. Mhm.
Absolutely. I want to ask if you could just two more things. One, do you have a favorite performance? Because, like you said, we've had Third World, we've had Hugh Masekela, we've had Sonia Sanchez, uh, just so many people. I mean, the list is very, very long.
Yeah.
Hezekiah Walker performed Eddie Mary, like across the board, international. Can you think of any one performance that you saw that kind of extra stood out?
Well, I don't think it's one performance. That's like saying who's your favorite kid. But, there's some children that you like better on some days than others. But I'm a dancer. So you're
Ah,
talking about Chuck Davis, Dinazulu, you're talking about Baba Olatunji. So
yeah.
any of the dancers, you're talking about Kankaran, you're talking about, for me, I never missed a dance performance. If I don't care if it's
Okay.
on the inside stage, the outside stage, I was there for all of the dance performances. That was it for me. And a longtime fan and supporter of the Dinazula family, which is probably as old in the Brooklyn community or the New York community as festival, even though we lost Baba Nana Dinazulu. I can
Yeah.
remember the year that Chuck Davis did the traditional Watusi dance there, Kankaran, where all the little kids in any of the dances,
Any of the dances,
I listen to the music. I'm a Third World fan. I was a
right?
Hugh Taylor fan, but I never missed a dance performance.
That's a little piece of nice information, and Asasiya has continued. Asasiya African American Dance Theater, they're a big part of
Yeah.
that. Speaking of legacy, continuing that tradition, so it's still going on. I know we're going to have an amazing
The
lineup this year.
International African American Ballet. Yeah.
Yes,
So there were so many. And then I remember the year we brought in a group from Chicago. I don't remember the name of it.
was it Montu? No, no, I'm getting it mixed up.
There was a sister who was part of International African American Ballet, and she moved to Chicago and started a group and brought her group in one year. Oh,
Okay,
any of the dancers.
any of the dancers, got it, got it.
My children can still do. I taught them watching Dinazulu. Sho shalosa, ebonsa. The boot dance, the South African
Wow,
boot dance. So
yes.
all my children know it. My grandchildren know it, and they've never been to festival. But it's
That
just a part of who we are.
I love it. I love it. Wow, this is more than what I anticipated. So thank you. This is
Well,
all
my
to love.
sister danced with Baba Michael Olatunji. She danced with
Okay.
Baba, so was one of his primary dancers for years. So whenever, that's how I started dancing. So
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I just had this vision of you on stage at festival at the 50th, showing us your love for dance.
Girl, please. If I were on the stage at this age, they wouldn't think I was dancing. They'd think I was having a stroke. Some kind of seizure of some sort. I will spare you. I will spare you. I'll spare you that. No, But you know what? Once a dancer, always a dancer. Once a
Yeah.
dancer, always a dancer. Just like,
Yeah.
once a musician, always a musician. Now, here's the thing, April, that just is a perplexion to me.
Mhm.
Um, when I think about some of the bigger festivals or the more commercial festivals, let me say that, because that's what they are.
Mhm.
Whether it's the Essence Music Festival, I remember the Tom Joyner Cruise, Sinbad
Yes.
did a thing in the Bahamas for a while. Even Steve Harvey did something. All of those are sponsored and fostered by larger commercial companies.
Right.
And
Yes.
festival is so grassroots and so community that I remember the year, we almost lost our teeth when we had to charge people to get in, because for how many years was it free?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we started charging people. But I think the important thing here is, since this is ours, and since it is 50 years old, and since it is grassroots, and since it is community, that people take pride in this legacy and support it financially.
Mm-hmm.
So that the artists, because for many years the artists came for free. They volunteered.
I didn't
You
even know that.
Yeah, yeah, the community, they came, or
Okay.
we're talking pay the gas, the tolls, the
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But this is something the community, because when you go those commercial routes, when you start getting those big dollars from the media and this and that, it really changes what you can and cannot do. And I think part of the beauty of festival, even though we've moved back to the streets, and have a little more interaction with the city, I
Mm-hmm.
think the beauty of it is that it's still the legacy of the same group of people who had the original vision. I wonder what would happen if every person who's ever attended festival
Mm-hmm.
were to just contribute $5. If every person who ever attended festival just contributed $5. Or if every person watching this thing and supports community legacy, community art, community love, and if everybody who saw, if they just contributed $5, I think so often we take things for granted. And then
Mm-hmm.
they're gone and they're gone. I mean, the festival that they used to have down in Fort Greene Park, eventually, through the gentrification of the neighborhood, it got squashed. In Chicago, same thing. Their big street festival got eliminated. In Detroit, the same thing. Festival is one of the ones that's been able to hang on. And it's been able to hang on because in many ways it hasn't had to acquiesce to the commercial sponsors' demands and requirements and legal. So it's so important that we understand that we have to take ownership and control dominion of our own legacy, of our own legacy. So
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder what would happen if anybody who sees this, and you've ever attended the International African Arts, well, now it's the Street Festival in Brooklyn. How about that?
We know what you're talking about.
Okay. If you said $5, people are spending $5.46 on a grande cup of coffee in Starbucks. And Starbucks is a multi-billion-dollar organization that don't pay no taxes.
Well,
How much money do we spend a week on my dear husband, Amazon? Amazon. You know who that is, right? Amazon. Amazon. That's my husband, because we spend many nights together. When I
yeah,
should be sleeping,
you're
I'm up
cracking
with
me up
Amazon.
today.
Come
I'm
on,
looking at
Amazon.
the camera like, who?
I call it my husband because
I
we sleep together many nights. But how many times will we just, without thinking, oh, let me click Amazon and go get something? You understand?
do.
Why can't we just, do y'all have a GoFundMe page? Do you have a button people can push and just give $5?
We actually do. We actually
Well,
do.
then you
And
put it
so
up, and
yes,
I'm challenging, if you've ever been to African Street Festival, if you live in Brooklyn, you should be shaming yourself if you don't support the festival. If you've ever heard of the African Street Festival, if you live in a city where your street festival was dismantled, or if you're just listening to this thing, I'm telling you, legacy, culture, community, that's what keeps us alive. 50 years. Some people haven't done anything for 50 years but be Black. They ain't been stayed married for 50 years. They ain't stayed on the same job for 50 years. These organizers every year for 50 years. What have you done for 50 years that you
I think
got us for?
we
So
got
that's just my challenge to them. That's just my challenge to the community, because we can't be complaining about the politicians and the House of Congress and the senators not doing what they're supposed to do when we don't even do what we're supposed to do, which is honor our own, take care of ourselves, be self defining and self directed. How can $5? That's what I'm
$5.
$5. And if you got 10, send 10. Okay. I'll take one. No, you can't do one.
We can do that, but your point is so strong. It's so important because what people might not know, to highlight your point even more, the festival has never taken sponsorship monies from alcohol companies.
Yeah,
Has
or
never
tobacco.
taken money or tobacco, right? And we appreciate all of the sponsors. Most of the money, however, that runs this organization comes from the merchants, from the
Yes.
vendors and people making donations.
Yes.
So we love our sponsors and partners, but we do need people to do more. And your challenge is just so spot on. It's so welcome. It's so needed because the reality is festival could not be here.
Yeah, that's right. Because many of them are not. I do believe Detroit is down, Chicago is down. They do something in Atlanta. I think it's called the White Night Party. I'm not really sure, but
Okay.
it's the thing is, so many things that kept us together as a community, as a people, are gone. And we say, "Oh, it's so sad. Oh, we can't have nothing." No,
Right.
because we don't take care of it. That's why we don't have nothing. We don't
Right.
take care of it. Just think of the number of vendors that come to festival or go to. I mean, just think of it, because of Miss Corona and her wonderfulness. There is no Essence Music Festival. There was no jazz festival last year, and I don't think there was one this year. Maybe next year. But what
Mhm.
about those vendors who earn their living and their life? This is what they do. They have mastered their craft and they live by virtue of their craft, and they haven't had an outlet. People are talking about the artists. Yes, the artists, Let Us See in India, and Nelly, and this one and that one and the other one with them $85 tickets. We're talking here, craft people who can sell us something that will keep us connected to our community, and they haven't had an outlet. And
Right.
festival is one of the outlets that they're going to have. So send your $5, get your mask, and
Yep.
take yourself out to festival. When is it? Same weekend, July 4th, right?
It will be July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th this year. So we had to scale it down to 3 days. We will be at Commodore Barry Park uh, July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, uh, 3 days instead of five. And we'll be outside. And your point is so spot on. People got to come with their mask. We got to be COVID compliant, but we will be in person. It'll be an opportunity for us to just commune again
I
and
know. We
to
should be licking each other after 2 years
I know.
and see you and just walk up to, come here. Forget a hug. I need something a little deeper. I've been over here by myself for too long. Yeah.
It's too much. Yeah, we hope you can join us. Hopefully, if your schedule permits, that would be amazing. Your Love Festival is so tangible, and we just thank you so much.
Well, I'm
Uh,
gonna tell you this. I'm gonna
I,
send my $5. I ain't paying at the gate.
we take the donations, because we're a park. We're at a park, so we can't
Yeah.
charge. We could just ask people to, a suggested donation, but we'll
Well,
take
make
both.
your donation now, people.
Yes,
Bring
now
your money in
both
now. Don't wait till you get to the thing.
absolutely. You're
Uh,
so right. You're so right. I'm going to ask if you could close us out with an affirmation or a prayer or just, just you and the way that you do so in such a healing way. We'll take it all as we close out, if you don't mind.
well, I think that is so important for us to really tap into and honor the legacy that we are. Um, and, it's not an original statement, but it is one that I think is powerful. That if I stand tall, is because I stand on the backs of those who came before me.
Yeah.
International Arts, African Arts Festival is here for me. If I stand strong, it is because I stand on the backs of those who came before me. International African Arts Festival is here for me. Yeah, I think that that's important.
So lovingly received, with an open heart on behalf of the honorary board, the founders, the volunteers. Just thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank
giving
you.
us you and your good energy. We love you. We honor you. We thank you. And we're going to take your challenge and we're going to
Okay.
spread it far and wide so we can meet our responsibilities and keep it going.
Okay. Do you know if the best chicken north of the south is going to be there this year?
I don't know, but I'll try to find out today.
You
I'll call
really do.
Ellen and
You
see.
really do have the best chicken
Yeah.
everywhere. Listen, I'll go anywhere for a wing.
Yeah, you have me cracking up today. We love
All
you so.
right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you.
much. And don't forget, you people, don't just be looking at me because I'm gorgeous. Go get your $5.
We love you so much, Ia. Thank you.
Okay. Bye
Talk to you
bye.
soon. Okay, take care.
Okay.